In a world that never seems to pause, where the rhythm of life is dictated by urgency, noise, and constant comparison, true peace often feels out of reach. The modern human experience is filled with external pressures, professional expectations, personal relationships, societal demands, and internal struggles such as self-doubt, anxiety, and a yearning for validation. In this relentless cycle, many find themselves lost, merely surviving instead of living. Ethan was one such person. On the surface, his life looked complete. He had a steady job in a fast-paced city, a circle of friends who cared for him, and the comfort of routine. Yet beneath that surface simmered a quiet discontent. He carried invisible burdens, resentment from past conflicts, lingering envy, the sting of criticism, and the aching fatigue of always trying to be enough. While he kept up appearances, inwardly, he longed for something more, a sense of calm that would not be shaken by external chaos, a peace that wasn't dependent on others' approval or life going according to plan. It was during one particularly draining evening, when the city lights felt more like distractions than inspiration, that Ethan stumbled across a simple quote: "Peace comes from within, do not seek it without." The words struck him, not because they were profound, but because they reflected exactly what he'd been missing. For the first time, he realized he had been looking in the wrong places, seeking peace in promotions, people, and achievements, when perhaps what he needed was already within him, waiting to be discovered. Thus began his quiet revolution, a journey not of escape, but of return. Return to presence, return to clarity, return to self. Guided by 10 transformative Buddhist principles, Ethan began to peel away the layers of mental noise and emotional clutter. These principles were not abstract philosophies, but practical, lived truths, gained through experience, reflection, and gentle course correction. They taught him how to navigate insults without internalizing them, to transform envy into admiration, and to treat every person, even those who seem difficult, as a teacher. He learned to be firm with himself and forgiving with others, to stop surrendering his peace to others' moods or judgments, and to root himself in acceptance rather than resistance. As Ethan's inner world shifted, so did his outer experience. He no longer walked through life like a man bracing against a storm, but like someone who had found shelter in the eye of it. He became unshakable, not because life stopped being chaotic, but because he stopped expecting it to be anything else. This is not just Ethan's story. It is a story for anyone who has ever felt overwhelmed, unheard, or unseen. For anyone who's tired of chasing peace in the outside world. For those ready to look inward and rediscover the quiet strength that already lives within. In the pages that follow, walk with Ethan, witness his transformation, reflect on your own, and perhaps begin your journey toward an unshakable mind. Imagine a life where nothing can shake your peace, where you remain unaffected by insults, challenges, or the chaos around you. How powerful would that be? This journey begins with a man named Ethan who, like many, battled external pressures and internal struggles. Follow Ethan as he discovers 10 transformative Buddhist principles, guiding him toward an unshakable state of mind and helping him cultivate an inner sanctuary of peace. Chapter 1: The First Ripple. Ethan was an ordinary man living in a bustling city. He held a stable job, enjoyed the company of his friends, and consistently strived to meet everyone's expectations. Yet beneath this facade of normalcy, he felt the weight of the world pressing down on him. Insults from co-workers, trivial misunderstandings with friends, and societal chaos knotted his stomach into a tight ball of anxiety. One evening, after a particularly challenging day, Ethan sat in his small apartment, contemplating his life choices. The rush of the city lay outside his window, a constant reminder of the world's endless demands. As he took a deep breath, he remembered something he had recently read. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. With that, his journey toward inner peace began. Chapter 2: Insults and Offenses. The next day at work, Ethan faced a harsh critique from his manager regarding a project he had poured his heart into. At first, the criticism stung sharply, threatening to overshadow his sense of self-worth. But as he recalled the Buddhist principle of not giving power to insults, Ethan took a moment to breathe. He envisioned someone throwing a rock into a pond. The ripples disturbed the surface, but eventually settled into stillness. Knowing that his manager's criticism stemmed from their own insecurities, Ethan chose to let go of the hurt. He recalled a saying from the Buddha: "Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die." With clarity, he understood that allowing anger to take root only harmed him. Releasing that anger, he felt himself shift back to calmness, appreciating the weight lifting from his chest. Chapter 3: Lessons from Teachers. On his journey, Ethan learned that transformative growth lay in viewing life as an opportunity for learning. This principle was reinforced by his afternoon commute home. He found himself reflecting on how everyone he interacted with, regardless of their demeanor, had something valuable to teach him. One day, he encountered a homeless man on the street who asked him for change. Instead of hastily walking past, Ethan paused. In that brief interaction, he learned empathy and humility, recognizing the struggles others faced. This moment revealed to him, when watching after yourself, you watch after others. Ethan began to embrace every encounter with an open heart, seeing the potential for lessons in even the most challenging interactions. Gradually, this made him resilient. Negativity no longer had the same hold over him. Every interaction was a chance to grow and remain centered. Chapter 4: Emulation, Not Envy. As weeks went by, Ethan's coworkers began to achieve great success, receiving promotions and accolades. In the past, he might have felt twinges of envy as they celebrated their victories. However, remembering the Buddhistic encouragement to transform envy into emulation changed his perspective entirely. At an office gathering, when a colleague was honored for exceptional work, instead of feeling diminished, Ethan chose to admire this individual. He whispered to himself, "Do not be jealous of others' good qualities, but out of admiration, adopt them yourself." This simple mantra empowered him. He approached his colleague, asked questions, and learned from their experiences, growing more ambitious and intent on self-improvement without feeling threatened. This transformation steadily nurtured his positivity, allowing him to shift focus from comparison to personal growth. With each success he celebrated, Ethan felt a greater sense of community within his workplace. Chapter 5: Strict with Yourself, Tolerant of Others. While Ethan embraced personal growth through emulation, he also recognized the importance of maintaining high standards for himself while being tolerant of others. He understood that being strict meant holding himself accountable to earn personal excellence, but recognizing that every individual was on their journey. During team meetings, he noticed how impatience sometimes surfaced regarding a colleague's progress. In the past, he may have judged them harshly, but this time he reminded himself of the Buddhist philosophy. You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. This shift in focus transformed Ethan's relationships. The more he practiced self-discipline and empathy, the more harmonious interactions became. His coworkers gravitated toward him, appreciating the atmospheric tension he diffused by offering understanding instead of judgment. Chapter 6: Taking Control of Hurt. Ethan often thought about how unresolved feelings could lead us to carry the burden of other people's actions. One evening, after a heated discussion with a friend, he felt anger surging through him. Instead of lashing out, He reflected on Buddhist teachings that reiterated that no one can truly hurt us without our consent. Understanding this principle, he chose not to allow others' actions to dictate his well-being. While the wind may bend a tree, it does not break it. In moments like this, he became like that tree, grounded rather than swayed. In his quiet living space, Ethan practiced meditation, allowing him to strengthen his resilience against external negativity. He learned that the only power someone had over his emotions was the power he gave them, and he refused to surrender it. This empowerment was transformative, granting him confidence and clarity amidst turbulence. Chapter 7: Acceptance and the Current. As Ethan delved deeper into mindfulness, he encountered the powerful lesson of acceptance. One day, while sitting under a tree in a park, he watched leaves fall gracefully, accepting their fate without resistance. He immediately thought about his life's challenges and the many times he resisted what was happening. Accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be, he murmured, the words echoing the teachings of the Buddha. By accepting the natural flow of life, he found peace without struggling against the current. He learned that many times, fighting against circumstances created suffering that was unnecessary. This insight transformed Ethan's approach to challenges. Rather than clinging to expectations or outcomes, he embraced the ebb and flow of life proactively. Acceptance prompted a shift in energy, allowing him to invest in positive actions, ultimately fostering compassion and understanding toward others. Chapter 8: Connecting with Nature. Ethan found solace in nature, realizing how much it reflected the principles he had begun to adopt. By aligning himself with natural rhythms, he felt more grounded and less anxious. Inspired by Buddha's teachings, he made it a habit to wake with the sunrise and spend evenings in reflection as shadows lengthened. The changing seasons taught him resilience and the natural cycles of growth, decay, and renewal. This connection to nature reminded him that change was a natural aspect of life and cultivated harmony within him. He learned to appreciate simple things: a gentle breeze, the sound of rustling leaves, or the peace that washing over him while walking through a meadow. By incorporating this nature-inspired rhythm into his daily life, Ethan found that many modern worries sometimes faded away. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the pressures of work and social obligations, he focused on sustainability, embracing the environment with gratitude. Chapter 9: Living Ethically. As Ethan matured in understanding, he started concentrating on ethical living, realizing that the foundation of his actions impacted his overall peace of mind. The mind is everything, what you think you become. He remembered the importance of his actions and thoughts, which echoed with purpose. He vowed to adhere to the principles of honesty, compassion, and respect for all living beings. This commitment to ethical living extended to those around him, fostering a sense of community that made his surroundings more supportive and harmonious. He understood that positive actions create ripples of good karma, influencing not only his own life, but also the lives of others. Ethan practiced honesty in his workplace, demonstrating fairness and transparency, which earned him trust and respect. He chose to engage in acts of kindness toward others, understanding that a small gesture could yield profound impacts. Each time he smiled at a stranger, offered a helping hand, or listened actively, he contributed to a collective fabric of goodness. Chapter 10: The Gratitude Shift. Amidst this growth, Ethan encountered one final yet crucial principle: practicing gratitude. He learned that shifting his focus from what he lacked to what he appreciated could create profound changes in his life. One quiet evening, he began to list things he was thankful for: his health, supportive friends, and the beauty of sunlit mornings. As he focused on these blessings, he gradually noticed a shift in his perspective. Rather than dwelling on negativity, his awareness gravitated toward the abundance around him. Singing voices of the birds outside his window, the delicious warmth of his favorite meal, or even the simple comfort of a favorite book became moments of joy. By incorporating gratitude into his daily routine, such as keeping a gratitude journal or meditating on his blessings, Ethan cultivated resilience against stress and negativity. Expressing appreciation, even for the tiniest of things, deepened his connection with others and fortified bonds in his relationships. Conclusion: the unshakable mind. As Ethan embraced these 10 transformative Buddhist principles, he experienced an incredible shift within himself. He grew stronger, more attuned to the beauty of life, and ultimately discovered an unshakable inner peace. He learned to be unaffected by the chaos and challenges of the world, instead aligning his life with compassion and integrity. In each interaction, Ethan's calm presence spoke volumes. No longer did he walk with anxiety or anger. He walked hand in hand with acceptance, patience, and gratitude. With every experience, he transformed into a beacon of peace, inspiring those around him to embark on their journeys toward inner sanctuary. Ethan's story was not just about overcoming life's challenges. It was about embracing them with grace and resilience. He learned that true peace is not found externally. It is cultivated within. And as others looked to him for guidance, he reminded them of the wisdom he held. In a world full of ripples, return to your stillness. Find your sanctuary, and there, within, you will discover the profound beauty of an unshakable mind.